Hello there, YouTube. Welcome to Mom and Pop Know Best. Today, we will be talking about Excel VLOOKUP. This is a very helpful tool, a very helpful function within Excel. If you know how to use it, it can make life so much easier, versus if you don't know how to use it, it can be a very daunting thing and it can be an excruciating manual process to do simple merging or looking up from one data set or one Excel file to another. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started to see how we can make this VLOOKUP mystery into something that is very easy and that is something that is very easy to work with. With that said, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe below, and we will continue to get you helpful content that hopefully adds value. Um, so here is data set one, which has customer ID, customer name, and state, and data set two, which just has customer ID and purchases. So let's say this is, I don't know, a small mom and pop shop. Get it? They're trying to run some sort of business, and they're having an online business where they're selling things. So they're getting orders from different states. So now they want to figure out which state is really contributing more to their sales, and which customer is buying the most from them. So if you just look at this, it's really hard to be able to kind of gather the info. Again, albeit this is a very small sample here, but let's say you're dealing with thousands of records and hundreds of thousands of purchases, it could be a very daunting thing to do. But with VLOOKUP, it can be a very easy task. So that said, let's kind of move on forward to um, link up or look up the state and put it onto data set two. So the easy and simple thing to do is click this function button here, and then you can say look up, go. And then it's going to say lookup, VLOOKUP, or it's vertical lookup, HLOOKUP, which is a horizontal lookup. So for this video, we will discuss VLOOKUP or vertical, and then for other videos, we could discuss the other functions. So with that, let's double click. So here it's asking you lookup value. So what value do we need to look up? So I'm going to say, I want you to look up 1, or basically this G4 cell, and then I want you to look for that in this table, which is the customer ID, customer name, and state. And we're going to highlight this and notice what's happening here. So notice when I'm just hovering or holding a single cell, um, again, I don't see anything. But once I start dragging, I see this is a table that's one row by two columns. So it means that it consists of two columns and one row, or in Excel language, it's one row times two columns. So notice the number of columns, because that will be very helpful. So in this case, it's 1 times 3, and we drag it down, and it becomes an 8 row by 3 column table. So we're done. And then this is where that's helpful, because it asks you for the column number, so column index number. So state, it actually shows up as number 3. So if this is column 1, this is column 2, then this is column 3. So over here, I'm just going to put 3. Then here, this logic or range lookup, it's asking, should I be looking for an exact match, or can I just get an approximate match? 99.9% of the cases, you want to have an exact match, which means that you would need to write in false. If you don't write anything, it will assume it's true. So be careful there, and just and always try remember to put in false. Then you hit OK. So great. Now it got New York. So customer 1, he's in New York. Okay, excellent. Let me here put 2 just for testing purposes, because I'm going to show you something. And then, okay, nothing, 0. And then we take this and drag it down. Now you're going to notice that 2 here created an error, but I do have a 2. But why isn't Excel seeing it? Because Excel is shifting the table because we did not lock it. So you will hear this word a lot, locking the table, which means that I need to go here, I need to click here, and then, oops, wrong one. Need to click the function, but then I need to lock this table. Locking it by doing F4, which puts a dollar sign in front of the C and a dollar sign in front of the 4. And then I click also the E11 and I hit F4. So now it's locked. Now I hit OK, and I can just simply drag this again. Voila, it worked. What is another way to easily do this? I can actually highlight this, right click, and say name arrange. And let's say that this is customer, and I hit OK. Now what happens is, instead of me having to update this every time and figuring out the range, what I can simply do is, instead of in here in the table array, I can just say customer. And you're going to see once I did that, it updated the range for me, or it put in the range right here. So before it wasn't seeing anything. Once I put in the full name, it picked up the range. So I hit OK, and now I drag it, and I don't have any issues because it's looking for this piece, for this area. Now let's say, actually, let me move these questions a little bit below. Let's say you wanted to expand. Let's say you're expecting to get more customers, hopefully. So now name a range, and I can call this customer, and this will overwrite. So enter a unique name. So now it's not happy. So it may do customer 2, and then here customer 2. Now I have it updated. So let's say I put in a 9 and Mr. Smith 2, who is from Vermont. And let's say that Mr. Smith 2 had, I don't know, $50 worth of sales. And I just simply drag this, Vermont shows up. So this way, again, I don't need to keep on updating the formula once I have it. So this way, it's a little bit more of a dynamic function. But let's kind of move forward with, all right, what are we trying to get at? Where should we focus our marketing efforts? So maybe we need to summarize this by state and figure out which state is performing better. So an easy way I could do this is I highlight this customer ID, purchases, and state, and I say insert pivot table. Okay. Now the rows are states, purchases are values, and I'm like, aha, DC is the highest performing, Vermont is the lowest performing, and New York is in the middle. Okay, maybe we need to focus a little bit on Vermont and New York, or maybe we double down on DC. Another way to easily do this is also to pick up the states, copy, and then maybe paste it as values, and use our handy um, duplicate removal tool here. Say, okay, right? So then it only keeps the unique fields, which are New York, DC, and Vermont, and I could do a sum if. Now, pivot tables and sum if, I'm gonna do those in a separate video. This one is just mostly focused on a VLOOKUP, but I wanted to highlight a sum if and VLOOKUP quickly. So a sum if, I can say, all right, look up New York, criteria here. Remember to then sum range is here. Remember to lock this and this, as well as this and this. Boom. So 400, 550, and 50, as we saw in the pivot table. So that's how, again, you can quickly create a summary by state after you bring in states. Now, let's say I also wanted to bring in customer name. So I put customer name here. Again, I could easily just copy this, or let's actually type it in. So equal VLOOKUP, and this I just invoked the VLOOKUP function. Again, I could also do it from here, but we showed that already, so I want to just show how to type up the syntax. So VLOOKUP, open paren, then I'm looking for customer ID, comma, the table array, I already know that it's customer 2, and here you can see that it already knows which ones are saved. So I want customer 2, comma. Now, before I got state, which is column 3. In this case, I want customer name, which is column 2. And also, true is an approximate match, false is an exact match. I want false. I want an exact match. John Doe shows up, scroll down, and now I have customer name. Now I could do the same exact thing with customer name and kind of provide a summary by that, or I could update the pivot table. So in the next video, I will talk about sum if and pivot tables as well as account if. So once again, thank you for joining. Please go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and we will do our absolute best to bring you content that is very helpful, that is Excel functions, personal finance, and a little bit of a teaser here is so my wife will discuss a little bit of about math websites, and again during this extended break that is happening now, maybe the kids are staying home, so she may show you some math websites that you could visit and have your kids visit and hopefully benefit a little bit during this break. Thank you so much and take care.